While you're teaching acceleration mechanics, an excellent drill to use that I highly encourage you to take advantage of is a simple wall drill, or a series of drills that you can do against a wall. We're going to use a goal post because it's just more convenient here for you to see. You can use anything that's stable enough for you to push against and isn't going to move all over the place. Many people have utilized wall drills in the past. I really like them for teaching acceleration mechanics because it teaches an athlete how to get that good forward lean, how to drive backwards, and how to keep their body rigid as they're pushing backwards. So what I'm going to have Jake do is go ahead and plant your feet down on the ground a little bit behind there, and you're going to lean forward into the wall or into the goalpost for right now. Now you want to try to get athletes on about a 45-degree angle. That's what you're looking for on their first two steps, is to be at about a 45-degree angle. They will gradually come upright, but for the first couple steps, a 45-degree angle is what we're looking for. So the other thing that we're looking for is to have the athletes have a straight line from their shoulders down to their ankles. A lot of athletes will be like this. They'll be bent at the waist, and they think that they're doing it right, but you're going to have to coach them to get in a better position. So let's tuck your hips forward. There you go. And they're going to get up on the balls of their feet. Their heels are not going to be on the ground during this drill. So he's going to have his chest up, everything nice and stable. His hands are just there to kind of maintain his balance. I'm going to have you bring your right knee up as high as you can. Good. And most athletes at this point, if they've never done this drill, their foot is going to be pointed and their foot's going to be out in front of them. That's not where we want that. We want their toes up, so ankles rigid and dorsiflex, and we want their knee to be bent backwards. Basically, whatever angle his shin is at, that's where his foot's going to go. So you can see from right here, his foot's going to come down approximately right there. If his foot is out like that, his foot's going to come down out in front of him, which we know already is not where we want it to go. So let's get your knee up nice and high. I'm going to have him drive his right foot backwards nice and hard. Essentially, I'm going to have him take it back a little farther than he normally would, almost back even with his other foot, and then he's going to switch feet. So we're just going to do it one time. Go ahead. Switch it up. Perfect. Switch it up. Switch. Good. Now you're going to see a lot of athletes struggle just with this. Their hips are going to start pushing backwards. They're not going to get their knees up. Sometimes you can recognize really, really quickly tight hip flexors in an athlete, because you will see it's almost like a strain in their hip flexor just to get that knee up. So let's see how high Jake can get his front knee up. Get that knee up. See, he's got nice flexibility. Sometimes when you ask somebody to bring their knee up, you can see them start to bend at their waist. You can relax for a second. They'll start to bend at their waist, and they can't get it up just because that hip flexor gets so tight. You'll also see athletes take one or two steps, their hips go back, their shoulders are moving around, and it's a great way to get them to understand how rigid they need to be when they're taking their first few steps. So now I'm going to have Jake get back in the same position, and we're going to do 4 steps. So you're going to be up against the wall, one knee up, and you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then stop with your right knee up. I'm going to come on this side of him. Good. Let's make sure you keep your hips nice and far forward, push forward. Good. Right knee up, and when you're ready, let's go 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Now what's cool about this, let's do it one more time. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. You can see this shake. Good. You can relax for a second. Some athletes will be doing mostly like just an up and down action. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's just up and down. But we want to be pushing the force backwards because we know it's going to send him forward. On this, it's awesome because you can see this thing moving around. If athletes are up against a wall, then what we're going to do is cue them to essentially push the wall. We want to push through the wall. If you have a group of athletes, you want to tell them, we're going to try to actually push this wall over. They're not going to actually push the wall over, but the idea is for them to get the feel of feeling the pressure in their hands on every single step. So let's do it one more time. And you're going to get the feel of like this wall like being pushed, almost like you're trying to push this goalpost towards me. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Good. Relax for a second. All right. Now, while they're doing this, you're going to give them the proper coaching cues. You're going to come up to them and put their feet and ankles where you want them to be, kind of like what I was demonstrating. So go back where you were. So if you have athletes that are bending at their waist too much, so that's where you're going to come up and you're going to cue them to get their hips tucked underneath them. Push it forward even more. Perfect. If their foot is up, go ahead and put their foot up. You can put it where you want it to be. You can tell them to get their knee up even higher. So you can coach them on exactly what you want to do from here. Now, once they get a few reps here, the idea is to then have them turn around and they're going to work on accelerating out away from the wall for their first 4 steps. So we're going to have Jake just turn around. And this time, instead of starting up like this, I'm going to just have you start in a 2-point stance, and I want you to take off and just take 4 steps. And you're going to try to mimic what you were just doing on here, leaning forward, knees up high, driving back on each step. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Good. So we're just going to use the wall drill to then teach how to accelerate off the wall. Now, if he didn't do a good job on that, we would have him do more reps. You can come back to the wall, you can work on it again, you can turn around and you can go back, and you can have him using the wall drill to get better at actual acceleration mechanics.